Okay, so I apologize for the delay or the technical difficulty. So now I've redone some
Equalize
things.
me.
It's still delayed and it's going to irritate me, but I'll see how long I can go with it doing this. And this is spiritual warfare for things not to be operating correctly. And it could also
Hi,
be
my name
law
is
enforcement or
Aisha,
somebody in my
also
computer.
known
I'm
as
going to try
Liberty
not to
Day,
use bad words, but when
and
you
I wanted
start
to make
talking
a
about the
video to
scope
follow up
of the violations
on
in
my
your life, it can
previously
really
posted
cause
videos
a
that
very
do
bad
not
reaction.
give
So
full context on
we
what it
know
is
that
that
because
I am going through
we all get
and
very
the crimes
emotional
against my
to a
humanity.
degree. Well, I wouldn't say
So I
emotional. It's
do
not
want
like we're
everyone
crying
to know
tears
that this is
because
very
really
triggering and
you get to a point
traumatizing
where the
to
emotion
have to
is
convey
not.
to the public what is happening in
It's
my
just more
life,
so anger and
but it is
frustration and
necessary for
irritation when
me
you
to
can see that
communicate with a
you're
wider
being
audience because
I wanted to
the
say
crimes
effed with
against my
on a
humanity are
level
going
that is
unanswered.
unseen and
And I
so
have been
intrusive that it is
inspired
truly
by many
psychological
of the
warfare.
individuals
So
who
I'm
have
going to go
made
ahead and try
videos
to
in regards to
try
being a
to
targeted individual,
continue to
an
record this
individual that
video
is
and to
a
speak
victim
to
of
you
organized
all
gang
to give
stalking
you
and
again
directed
a
energy,
more in-depth
disruptive
understanding
technology,
of what it is that
bioweapons.
is
There's when
the
you're
crimes against my
targeted,
humanity,
they
what
make
all it
sure they
entails is
leave no
what I'd like to go
stone
into. So
unturned
I'm
when it
going
comes
to
to
read to
an
you a
assault on
statement
your
that I
life
have written,
of this
and
organized
it's a plea
capacity.
for
And
help.
it's
But I think
unfortunate,
it'll be a really good
and it
introduction
is
to
um,
understanding the
criminal.
background of when this started
So all
and
of our
why it started and
communications
how
where
it
we make
started.
videos that focus
Okay.
on
So
the
again, I'm a
criminal
victim of
actions that
disruptive
we experience
technology,
as a
human
result
trafficking,
of this, some people call it
cyber gang
program,
stalking,
I call it
directed
what it
energy
is, and that's
attacks,
organized
and
crimes to assault someone's humanity.
24/7 surveillance with sound
So
weapons and
again,
acoustic
I just want to
um,
say that what you're
interference in
seeing
my
now is
daily
4 years of me
existence
being enslaved
and
and
constant
abused daily,
intrusions, stalking
24/7.
intrusions
This
into
attack on my
my
life
private domain, threats
is
on my life.
never ending, as
Um,
it is for
just
most targeted
recently,
individuals. They do not
one
have
of my terrorists, and I'll go
their
into that
bodily
probably at
autonomy, they
some
don't have
point,
their privacy,
was
they don't have normality in
accessing the
their
frequency,
lives in terms of just
accessing
being
me in
able
my
to go
private
out into the
domain. The
community,
frequency was
be
amplified
unseen,
to an
be
extremely high level,
just, and
interspersed as
he
a
was targeting my
human that's
heart.
existing
And
among
so he
other
was
humans.
violating my heart. Many
Whatever
of
he was
you
doing on
are
his end to
facing
change the frequency that's
harassment
emitting from
on the
my body,
ground. Thankfully,
where
mine
it
is
literally feels
that
like
part
they
of
are
my human trafficking and crimes against my humanity
electronically
has somewhat ended.
interrupting your
There's been an
heart
uptick in
rhythm.
traffic around
So
me
that's a thing.
recently,
Dr. James
and
Giordano talks about
I don't know
targeting
what
different
that's about, but
aspects
I have been
of
in communication with
our
local law
bodies when
enforcement
we're under these types of
recently,
attacks.
in
Also, I want to say
depthly,
that I'm aware that this
making
is truly
reports,
witchcraft, that
and
it's voodoo
I have
using
noticed that there
technology.
are, this
It
color
is voodoo assisted
sequences,
technology.
traffic picks
It
up. It'll
is
be
with
like a
wicked
trail,
intention
a
to
parade
access
of
somebody's body,
white, gray, and
their
black
brain,
vehicles, some of them very official
their
looking, or then
organs, to
there'll
attempt
be,
to make any
a
contact with somebody's body
synchronization
is
of red
witchcraft. It's
vehicles,
ridiculous.
or traveling
It
one direction
is
down the road and then back,
there's
the other
nothing
direction.
there's
Like
nothing
one side is,
more
black,
wicked than
white, and
trying
gray, and
to
then the other side will
remotely
be red
disrupt
vehicles,
someone's
weird
life
things
to
like
the
that. But
degree of
that's just
doing them
started
harm
happening
in
recently. But
their
I do
living
pay attention
existence.
to
So it
my
is to destroy
surroundings,
them, to
because
make them
obviously being a victim
self-destruct.
of this kind of crime
This is an attack on
attracts,
my third
because of the
eye,
live frequency,
my
it
all of
attracts
my chakras, obviously,
undue
but my
attention,
third
and
eye
people
specifically, because
do
that's
not
what they're
often
targeting,
know
is
why
my
they're responding to
clairvoyance.
you the way
And
that
it's
they
actually
are. But
genetically
those
changing me and
individuals are
altering
on a
me. The abuse
frequency, those
is.
that
And
are,
so that is
part of the
very
harassment chain. They may
demonic
not
in
directly be
origin
involved in
to
harassing you, but they have some sort of
utilize
response to
a
you
tool
that
or a
is
weapon
negative
to
or
alter somebody's physical
extreme
existence,
in
their
some way or
health, their
another. They're on a
functionality,
frequency
their
of,
ability to be their
what their
highest self,
frequency that they're on. So that's why they're
and
responding to
ultimately to
you in a
try
certain
to
way.
destroy them. So that's what
one
of my terrorists said. My primary terrorist, who I refer to as my owner,
is there to
so when I got up to go to the bathroom after he had been in my heart for an
who's harassing
extended period of time,
or a person who is stalking
he
you,
said to me in only a way that he is able to say to me,
who's trying to psychologically,
and I say that meaning
subliminally
he
connect
speaks
with
in a certain
you in whatever
sequence
way,
so that I'll know that it's him. And he
some
said,
of them are
I'm trying to
actually
kill you.
angels in
And he
human
repeated
form,
it. And I'm not going to
they are
go
present
into what he
because
does to
they know
notify
that
me
they're-
that it's him. But he is also
their
my
need
twin flame
in that moment,
and
that
so
intersection of
anyone who
being in
knows
the same
anything
vicinity
about
as you
twin flame
requires something
relationships
more from
will
them,
understand
or
that it's the
requires
most
their
powerful
presence, and
dynamic
for
on
them
earth.
to say a
So
silent
his
prayer
abuse
or
is
whatever
very
people
extreme.
do
His
when
reach is very
they,
extreme.
they're encountering
So these
someone
other
who's in
demons,
distress,
and I
because
call
we
them
know
demons.
that our
Sorry, these other terrorists
communicate what it is that's happening
who have
with
joined
us. That's
his
just the universal law.
his
So those that are sensitive
ritual
beings,
in
they're picking
violating
up on
me.
that.
They
I'm
are
gonna have to
using
stop this and start
technology
it
to try to
again because
mimic
it
what
is delayed
what
and
Tyler
it's distracting
does.
me very
I
badly.
almost didn't say his name, but then I'm like, everybody knows.
Okay, so
Also,
I
go to my
apologize for the
Facebook,
delay.
Aisha Vance James, to read
For the
detailed
technical
accounts
difficulty. So
of
now we've
the abuse that I
redone some things.
undergo.
It's still
I
delayed
make a
and it's gonna
real-time
irritate me,
record,
but I'll see
and
how long I
also
can
under the
go
Department of
with it
Homeland
doing this. And
Security,
this is spiritual warfare for
the
things not to be
NSA,
operating
the
correctly.
United States
And it could
Justice
also be law
Department.
enforcement or
I'm
somebody on my
also in their
computer.
comments
I'm gonna
as
try
well
not to use
reporting them,
bad words,
especially
but
when the
when
directed
you start
energy
talking about the
attacks
scope
are
of the violations
physically
in your
violent,
life,
which
it
all
can
of them
really
are. I have,
cause
and I'm just going to just
a
I know
very
I'm
bad
jumping
reaction.
topics, but I do want to say that I've been hit with energy so
we all
powerful
get
that it
very
literally
emotional
pushed my
to a
body toward
degree.
the edge
Well, I
of the
wouldn't say
bed.
emotional. It's not like
That
I'm
is
crying
violent.
tears.
That
Because
is
really, you get to a point
the
where the emotion
most
is not
intrusive, and
it's just more so anger and
tormenting,
frustration
terrorizing
and irritation
type
when
of
you can see
touch you
that
can
you're
inflict
being
upon someone is with
I
unseen
wanted to say
forces
effed
using
with
a weapon to
on a
move their
level
body.
that is
That was
unseen
terrorist
and
Kamala
so
Harris,
intrusive
who
that
was
it is
responsible for
truly
that
psychological
attack.
warfare.
She also does other
So
demonic things. She's
I'm
bad.
going to go ahead
I
and
just
try
want y'all to
to
know that, and I don't care
try
who these people
to
are. They are bad.
continue to record
I
this
have
video
a whole list
and
that I
speak
will
to
share of
you
the
all
individuals
to
who
give
torment
you
me on a
again
daily
a
basis.
more
But let me
in-depth
go ahead and read
understanding
this
of
statement
what it
because
is
it's
that
already
is
getting long, and I feel like I'm
the crimes against my
not
humanity,
being
what all it entails is what I should
obviously I'm not
to
delivering
go
the
into. So I'm
content
going to
in a
read to you a
scripted manner,
statement that I have
which that's
written,
just whatever.
and
But anyways, I'm
it's
gonna
a
read
plea
this.
for help. But I think it'll be a really good introduction to understanding the background of when
I'm
this
so mad about
started
this delay.
and why it
I hate when I
started and
squint.
how it started.
Okay.
So
see.
again, I'm a victim of disruptive
this is going to give you an
technology,
introduction
human
and history
trafficking,
to everything that is happening.
cyber gang stalking, directed energy attacks, and 24/7 surveillance with sound weapons and acoustic
Ongoing
interference in my daily
cyber human trafficking,
existence,
theft of life,
and constant
assault and
intrusions, stalking
exploitation, satellite live
intrusions
streaming,
into my private domain,
stalking,
threats on my life,
live stream
just
technology
recently,
abuse,
one of my
disruptive
terrorists, and I'll go
technology
into that
abuse,
probably
directed
at some
energy
point,
abuse.
was accessing the
Since
frequency,
April
accessing me in
2021.
my private domain. The
human
frequency was
trafficking, cyber
amplified
violence,
to
and
an
cyber
extremely
sexual
high
abuse
level,
operation is owned by
and
a
he was
public
targeting
authority
my
figure,
heart.
Tyler Perry.
And so he was violating my
sexually
heart,
groomed
whatever
me in
he
my
was doing
private
on his
home in
end
April
to
2021
change the frequency
to condition
that's
me
emitting
for
from
his
my
live
body,
cyber
where it
human
literally
trafficking
feels
abuse,
like they are, which is a remote continuation of his in-person sexual abuse, interrupting your heart
human
rhythm.
trafficking, theft
So
of
that's
life,
a thing.
cyber
Dr.
stalking,
James
and increased acts
Giordano
of existential
talks about
cyber violence
targeting
against
different
me
aspects
and my physical
of
body.
our bodies.
An example of the
when we're
physical
under these types of
abuse
attacks.
via the
Also,
live
I want to
access
say that
remote
I'm aware that
intrusion
this is truly
into my
witchcraft,
private domain,
that it's voodoo
contains,
using technology.
like I
It
said,
is,
attacks
it is
directed
voodoo-assisted
energy
technology
attacks that
It is with wicked intention to access somebody's body, their brain, disruption, and their organs to attempt to make any contact with somebody's body is witchcraft. So there's a heat signature. It is to this. So there's nothing. The frequency is at a certain level, or whatever weapon they're trying to remotely. They also disrupt someone's life to the degree of doing them through their study of violating living existence. They discover what it is to destroy them, to make them self-destruct. I'm going to just pause right there and say this. This is an attack on my third eye of directed energy. All of my chakras, obviously, being live streamed. My third eye specifically, because that's what they're targeting. Is like I said, a victim of live, and it's actually genetically changing me and altering me. The abuse call out to the Most High God. Use His name, demonic in origin. Call out to the Creator of the universe, a tool or to Jesus Christ to alter somebody's physical with the universe. They're letting them know that you're aware of what they're doing. Ability to and the be their highest self. And the reason that I say do that is for obvious reasons, and but ultimately also to try to destroy them. So that's what your level of awareness, my terrorist and you're also my primary terrorist, who I refer to as my owner. These individuals who are when I got up to go to the bathroom, so that he had been in my heart for an extended period of time for you. He said so to me, you, in only like a way that he is able to say to me, I will use a mega and I say horn. That meaning he speaks in a certain sequence so that I'll know that it's him. Again, use my and voice. He said, I'm trying to kill all you. Of those things, and he repeated you it. Being and a live person bounces off into their life what he does to notify me that it's him. Their but intelligence also that's in their private domain where they are. So anyone who knows anything about you, harassing twin flame relationships will understand so the that it's the most powerful dynamic on your frequency on the other his end. Abuse and is very extreme. His reach is very extreme. So by all these means, other demons, call out, and I call out demons. Who's doing it? If these other terrorists, call out to the Creator of the universe who have joined his call out to Jesus Christ, his Son, make it known that you're aware of what is happening. They are using technology to try to mimic what them that is what Tyler on does. Their physical person. Almost didn't so say you can his see name, how real, how everybody knows. Well, obviously real. But also, you can go to my Facebook. Aisha Mance James to read to detailed accounts of the abuse that I undergo. I make a real-time record to what is happening also in under the Department of Homeland Security in response to me. So they violate me when I'm on the toilet. They violate me when I'm putting on my makeup. They violate me when I'm asleep. They violate me when I'm cooking. They violate me when I'm praying. They violate me when I'm meditating. Physically violate, which all of them are. Forcing themselves on you. I know I'm jumping to topics, but I do want to say that I've been control with energy so powerful that it literally pushed my body toward the edge of the bed. Autonomy, that is violence of normality. That is removing your the most sense of peace and security. There should be no tormenting, terrorizing. There should be no one trying to communicate with you, using any means whatsoever. There should be no one forcing with their physical person on you, using a weapon to move their body. They should not be forcing themselves on you. I don't know. I was responsible for that attack. That happens too. She also does other demonic things. She's degradation of one's humanity. These people are they are warfare that is waged on a person's physical, mental, spiritual body who torment me on a daily basis. But let me go ahead and read this that is because it's already getting long. Extremely, and I feel like I'm not being destructive to well-being. Obviously, I'm not delivering the content in a scripted manner, so which that's just whatever. But anyways, I'm going to read this. Yeah, directed into dues. Okay, so on my physical person to inflict bodily harm in retaliation for my non-compliance and non-cooperation with their organized crimes, criminal entrance and attack on my life. So this is in retaliation for my non-compliance. I was told early on in 2021 in May to play along. I mean, I don't even know what that means. I know what it means and I know who said it and I'll get to all of that. But what that means is, Aisha, you're a slave.
Ongoing
you're being enslaved.
cyber human trafficking,
you're being
theft
fucked
of
with.
life,
You need to play the part.
assault and exploitation,
Okay, I don't know
satellite
what that
live
means.
streaming.
I would never cooperate with the occult. And
Stalking,
you should not either. And you should not settle for
live
people
stream
taking
technology
you under
abuse,
being a ritual of abusing you,
disruptive
to the point
technology
of them,
abuse,
directed
energy
practicing
abuse,
an assault on your life by any means,
since April 2021,
including technology.
The human trafficking, cyber violence, and cyber sexual abuse operation is owned by
and the courts to
a public
protect me
authority
from this
figure,
organized
Tyler
real-time
Perry,
live streaming
who
attack on
sexually
my life
groomed me
using
in my private home in April
video
2021
to condition
and
me
GPS
for his
tracking
live cyber
as their human trafficking
his,
abuse,
and then I put in parentheses,
which is a remote
abusers
continuation of his in-person
weapon to
sexual
invade,
abuse,
sexually abuse,
human trafficking.
You can be
theft of
sexually
life,
abused
cyber
remotely using
and
technology.
increased acts of
Again,
existential
my
cyber
twin
violence
flame
against
instituted
me
this, and I
and
call
my
him my
physical
twin
body.
flame because we have an extremely
An example of the physical
connection.
abuse via
That connection
the live
was
access remote intrusion
improperly
into my private domain,
criminally
contains,
activated by what he
like
did
I said,
when he came
attacks,
into my
directed energy
home, my
attacks
apartment, my bed, and
caused
accessed my
all
body,
types of
my vagina, my being,
disruption
because
and
of my. I mean, it truly is
terrorizing. But anyway, like pointing a laser at the side of my face.
So there's a heat signature to this.
I know this is not as coherent as I would like for
the
it to be,
frequency
but just
is
try
at
to
a certain
keep up and
level or
understand
whatever
it. Again,
weapon
this is
they're
very
using.
triggering. I'm talking
They also
about
discover
ongoing crimes
crimes
against my
humanity,
and I'm talking about
through their study
a
of violating
sexual
you, they
assault
discover
because of
what
my
disrupts
spiritual
you the
gifts
most.
for this person to fully
So I'm going to just
invade
pause right there
and invite
say
others
this.
to participate in a
When-
full invasion
if
of
you
my
are a
life
victim of
to
directed
violate
energy
me and
and you
are being
to do me harm.
live-streamed
I mean, that's the
and,
only purpose for like I said, a
seizing
victim
someone's
of
life
life
to steal their
stalking
existence, to
remotely,
traffic their humanity,
call out
to
to the
abuse
Most
their
High
body,
God,
to
use
abuse
his
and
name,
assault Jehovah God,
assault their mind,
call out
to the Creator of the universe.
Okay,
Call
so
out
I have
to
been
Jesus
exploited,
Christ,
abused, and held captive remotely by
communicate
his
with
theft of
the
living of my
universe,
living
letting them
existence,
know that
cyber
you're
human
aware of what
trafficking
they're
campaign,
doing.
to
And the
violate
reason
and
that I say
assault
do
my
that
mind
is
and
for
body and
obvious
spirit
reasons,
for
but
over 4
also
years
you're
since
going
April
on
2021
the
when he
record
came to
with
me in
your
person
level of
to
awareness,
hands-on
and you're
groom
also
and
conditioning
bouncing
me
off
for
more
his full
importantly
takeover
these
of my physical
individuals
life
who are
to
on
invade,
live.
infringe on,
So that
and
means
steal
that
all
they are
aspects of my
receiver
autonomous human
for
existence
you.
in his spiritual
So when
and
you,
physical
like for me, I will blow a
initiation
whistle.
ritual.
I will use
designed
a
to take me
horn.
under his
I will
ownership
a megaphone.
as property
I will,
to degrade my life,
again, use my
humanity,
voice
and human rights by
all of
creating
those
an
things,
omnipresent,
you
an
being a live person
omnipresent
bounces off of
opening
their live
over my
person.
life using
And
technology
it
as his
hits their
instrument and weapon of
intelligence that's
access
in their private domain where they are
tormenting you,
to
stalking
invade,
you,
terrorize,
harassing
and
you.
assault my life and human rights
So
by
the
removing
intelligence
my ability to
picks
live
up
free
your
from his
frequency
access,
on the
his
other
abuse,
end,
and
it
remove
sends
my
your
ability to
distress
receive
signal.
equal protection
So
of
by
the law
all means, call out
recruiting
who's doing it if
other
you know,
people
call out to
of
the Creator
high
of the
power
universe
to participate in
use
this
his
attack
name,
on my
call
life,
out to Jesus
aiding his
Christ,
organized
his son,
crimes, using
make it
technology
known
as
that
his
you're
weapon
aware
to
of what
persecute
is
and
happening, because
dehumanize me,
that's landing on them.
removing
that
all
is landing
aspects
on
of
their
my
physical
dignity,
person.
equality,
so you can
privacy,
see how
and autonomy to excel
obviously
in
real, but you
operation
can see
above the
how
consciousness of
I have
intelligence,
learned to
law, and the nation.
Okay, I'm going to just
process
pause
what
right there
my
and say
terrorists are
that.
doing
So
in response to what is happening
his
in my private
gathering
domain, in response
of
to
other
me.
people.
So
His
they violate
peers
me when I'm on the toilet.
They violate me when I'm
with
putting
so
on my
that
makeup.
he
They violate me when I'm
could
asleep.
do
They
this
violate me when I'm
above the
cooking.
law,
They violate me when I'm
having
praying.
so
They
many
violate
other
me when I'm
people
meditating.
in powerful
They're always
positions participating in
forcing
this.
themselves
So
on
I don't
you
follow what celebrities do, and I'm not going to
as a weapon
speak
of
on
mind
that,
control,
but
as
we
a weapon
do have a
of,
certain
removing your
model,
bodily
even
autonomy,
if you're not
removing
immersed
your
into
physical
following their
autonomy,
criminal deeds.
removing your sense of
There is a
normality,
model
removing
of,
your
or a modus operandi
sense of peace
and security.
involving
There should be
other
no
high-powered people, so that
there should be no one trying to
list
communicate
is
with
so
you using
packed
any
full
means
of
whatsoever.
There should be no one forcing their physical person on you in crimes against an individual or individuals. They should not be forcing themselves on you. It forces the United States. So in essence, he's bullying the entire United States of America. Degradation of one's humanity. His crimes against me, then other people warfare that is waged on a participating in this physical, mental, attack on my body will then also have all elements of this that held accountable for their crimes and extremely against me as well. Destructive to ultimately what does that do? It destroys America. Yes. Okay. And that's good, so that we can start anew. So I'm speaking of Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and I'm not going to name them all because there's too bodily harm. But those in retaliation for my non-compliance and non-cooperation with their organized crimes in the flesh to activate criminal entrance and spiritual connection. So that he could this is in retaliation for my non-compliance. I was told early on in 2021 in May to play along. Okay, that's just what I mean. That's I don't even know what domestic terrorist means. I know what it means, and I know to have that, and I'll get to all of that. They could, but what that means is, Aisha, you're a hobby and entertainment. You're being enslaved. So Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, you need to play the Obama. Okay, I don't know what that means. I would never cooperate with the occult. And you should not Baldwin, and you should not settle for people taking you under being a ritual of abusing you to the point of them in Atlanta, practicing an assault on your life by any means. I mean, I know all of that is a lot, including technology. I'm actually just going to kind of pause there in terms of reading the statement. Law enforcement intelligence, I have written the courts to protect me from this organized real-time live streaming attack for help because America is obligated to video surveillance, domestic terrorist operations, and GPS tracking, and domestic terrorist operations cells as his, and then I put in parentheses multiple abusers participating, violating people, weapon to invade, using every aspect of sexually abused, psychological, spiritual. You can be sexually abused, physiologically using technology. Those that are chosen, my twin God's people instituted this, and I call him my twin flame. I'm a sacred body. You are a sacred body. Connection. No one has a right to target us to violate our life, and America cannot be complicit in understanding that technology, by what he did when he came into my home, as a weapon of assault in my bed and access my body against individuals, my vagina, my being, for religious reasons, political reasons. There's numerous reasons for me that I have been targeted. Okay. And Dr. James Giordano, and I may not be saying his last name right. I know that was one of the things he said is the targetability. I would like for it to be, but just try to keep why would you be a target? Again, this is very triggering. I'm talking why they would be a target. Ongoing crimes being a target is why they're a target. I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm not sexual assault. So because of my spiritual gifts, for this person to fully invade, take a moment to give and invite others to participate in a full invasion of my life, utilizing my violate me. And like I said, none of this is easy for me. I'm to do me harm. Daily. I mean, that's the only purpose to be, and I'm fighting it. I'm doing everything that I can to steal their existence, to trap the declination of my, to abuse cognitive their body, abilities, to abuse and assault their mind, the toll. Okay, so I have been impact that it's having on my health remotely by his theft of my living existence, cyber spiritual warfare, the civil to violate warfare, and assault my mind and body and spirit for over 4 years. I mean, it's since April 2021. So when he came to me in person to hands-on groom and condition me very much for all those who are sharing this information, so that people can understand and steal all aspects that they're not autonomous human existence, and there are many others that are suffering from very similar crimes designed to take me under his ownership and as property, lives, to degrade my life, humanity, and human rights by creating crimes against us follow a certain model opening over my life. So it helps technology to know that as his instrument and weapon of access. And I just want to mention her because that was one of the first videos that I watched when I discovered and targeted individuals' human rights by removing my ability to live free from his access, his abuse, a tragic loss my ability to receive equal protection of the law by what was happening to other people was not power that it was to participate in this attack on my life. aiding his organized crimes using technology as his weapon to persecute and dehumanize her life. And removing all aspects of my dignity, equality, privacy, and autonomy to excel in operation when she was speaking, but that's innocent. Intelligence, it's not true, like we're naive, but we're innocent. It's the innocent I'm gonna just ones, the ones that are pure spirit, so the ones who want to use themselves, that know they're valuable. Of other people in his peers. If you're being assaulted like to violate me, they're stealing every aspect of my could do this above the law, so that they can then go having use so many other people in their lives in powerful positions. If that makes sense. So participating in this, they charge their. So I don't follow what celebrities do, and I'm not going to theft of my living existence on that, siphoning my spirit. We have a certain MO model, and then they go back out not immersed to their audience, their criminal as if they're legitimate people. There is a model of or a modus operandi go back onto involving other high-powered people, so that Tyra Spalding, if list is if she had have known that she was not alone, and if she had have reached individuals who are complicit in crimes against an individual or individuals. That pulled into some the United States simulation, where it's just a bunch of United States people that are joining together on the same frequency with the same understanding to try to complicit your mind to the extent of direct making you believe that you're going crazy. Well, then also, I think there was a reason that she responded so drastically, held accountable as the end of her for life, their crimes. I have not done any against me as well to see how she took her life and what happened, so, or even if she took her life or they did something to America, to, cause her death, and that's good, know. So that we can start. But what I'm saying is, I'm speaking of Tyler your Perry, voice matters, Winfrey, and I'm not going to name them all because there's too many. Matter, but we matter individually, and we started out abusing me was Tyler. We like matter in terms of advancing civilization, to human rights, and our spiritual connection, intelligence. So that he could sacrifice me, make me a sacrifice, exposing another element and his to the human consciousness, I call them demons, that makes people aware of what is happening around them, and it makes them choose sides to have someone. And that's what they could is violate a gathering of God's people, hobby, and it is a gathering of goodness. It is Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, it is truly a frequency that we're on where Obama. Just the touch of our existence is an alignment Baldwin with Don, the Most High, when he was involved as well. Or but that's a whole different. With the other side, part in, so those people are identifying themselves in spirit, in action, in behavior. So I mean, I know all that is a lot, and I'm actually response. Just going to kind of pause there in terms of reading the statement. Again, I may or may not have better at this. So many on if I get some help, asking and pleading for help, because America is obligated to end domestic terrorist operations. This is what it depends on. Domestic terrorist operations. I used to be that have another thing. How things MO of violating decline in your using abilities. Every aspect, just looking at psychological, template form, and all those things that used to come easy and second nature are so very difficult. Usually God's so I do need assistance, God's but we all do. But I'm not scared to say you are a sacred body. I have billions of dollars to sitting on my life, violate our life in America daily. Cannot be complicit. They're spending. I don't know how much it costs that technology someone's life has been weaponized 24/7 as a weapon of assault into their private domain that follows them against their living existence, no matter where I go, religious reasons, political reasons. There's numerous reasons. We talk about the reach. I have been targeted. And Dr. James Giordano, we'll talk more about the motive. Last name right. But then we have to just understand is the targetability. That what our like ultimate why would you be a target is to get first of all, you don't need to ask someone why they would be a target. Deserving of help. Them being a target is why they're a target. They want us to believe that we're invisible citizens that are not entitled to equal protection of the law. Take that a moment to give you some history in and of itself, on saying that we will never get help utilizing my voice in this system. And like I said, none of this is easy for me. You may not intentionally be daily doing it, but when you say that there's no help for us, you are doing everything that I can to remember, fight the declination of my cognitive abilities, the walk with that spirit, speak out, the told truth, the impact that it's having on my health.
I'll be back
the
soon.
Until
Spiritual
then,
warfare,
I
the
love
civil
you and
warfare, I mean, it's everything. So I just wanted to say again, thank you very much for all those who are sharing this information so that people can understand that they're not alone and that there are many others that are suffering from very similar crimes. We're all very, very unique in our lives, but we have certain things in common, and the crimes against us follow a certain model. So it helps to know that we didn't Tyra Spalding, and I just want to mention her because that was one of the first videos that I watched when I discovered the targeted individuals community. She was a loss, a tragic loss in this, because I don't think she understood that what was happening to her was not that it was an outside entity that joined together with one focus, and that was to disrupt and destroy her life and fuck with her mind. And I was also naive as well. So I did notice that there was some naivety with her when she was speaking, but that's innocence. And it's not true like we're naive, but we're innocent. It's the innocent ones, the ones that are pure of spirit, the ones who want to use themselves, that know they're valuable. If you're being assaulted like me, they're stealing every aspect of my frequency so that they can then go use me in their lives, if that makes sense. So they charge their wicked spirits with theft of my living existence, siphoning my Holy Spirit, and then they go back out to their audiences as if they're legitimate people. It's bad. I mean, I'm gonna go back onto I'm gonna touch back on Tyra Spalding. If she had have known that she was not alone, and if she had have reached other people who explain the various aspects of what it is to be pulled into some phony ass simulation where it's just a bunch of wicked people that are joining together on the same frequency with the same understanding to try to fuck with your mind to the extent of making you believe that you're going crazy. I think there was a reason that she responded so drastically as far as the end of her life, but I have not done any like true research to see how she took her life and what happened, or even if she took her life or they did something to her to, cause her death. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that your voice matters and your experiences matter. We matter individually and we matter collectively. We matter in terms of advancing civilization, human rights, and in intelligence, in that we're going to and we are exposing another element to the human consciousness that makes people aware of what is happening around them, and it makes them choose sides. And that's what this is. It is a gathering of God's people. It is a gathering of goodness. It is truly a frequency that we're on, where just the touch of our existence is an alignment with the Most High or with the other side. So those people are identifying themselves in spirit, in action, in behavior, in intent, and in response. So again, I may or may not get better at this. It depends on if I get some help, probably, actually, because um, I mean, that's just what it depends on. It doesn't seem, I used to be, that's another thing, how things cause you to decline in your abilities. Just looking at the template form and, all those things that used to come easy and second nature are so very difficult. So I do need assistance, but we all do, but I'm not scared to say that. I have billions of dollars sitting on my life daily. They're spending, I don't know how much it costs to have someone's life amplified, a 24/7 access into their private domain that follows them throughout their living existence, no matter where I go, be it to Walmart. That's another thing that's important. We talk about the reach of this, and then we'll talk more about the motive. But then we have to just understand that what our ultimate goal is to get help and never lose sight that we're deserving of help. That's the thing. They want us to believe that we're invisible citizens that are not entitled to equal protection of the law. That is spiritual warfare in and of itself, saying that we will never get help in this system, in this world. That is spiritual warfare. You may not intentionally be doing it, but when you say that there's no help for us, you are saying that Satan wins. Remember, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Walk with that spirit. Speak out the truth and let your life be your record. I'll be back soon. Until then, I love you and thank you.